All right, here we go. Breitbart. We're going to tear right into it right now. Let's see what my friends have to say here. Let me make sure I got this blown up a little bit so that we can all see this. Okay, I think that's probably going to be our best bet right there. Okay, exclusive. Biden administration. And by the way, if you see me looking out to the side, it's not me trying to be rude. It's just I got several monitors right here so that I can read it appropriately and reference everything accordingly. I'm sure y'all understand. One of these days I'll have an assistant. Maybe things will be a little easier and I won't have to juggle everything at one time. So anyway, exclusive. Biden administration planted Operative Jeff DiSantis in Fani Willis's office to target Trump, sources say. And again, right here in the middle is DeSantis. It's not the same DeSantis, obviously, here in my great state of Florida. It's not Ron DeSantis. It's Jeff DiSantis, and to my knowledge, there's no relation. The names are not even spelled the same. Here's sweet Fani Willis, and then, of course, we all recognize former President Donald Trump. By the way, his victory was pretty sweet the other day in South Carolina, and you still got bird brain hanging in there. What is that about? I used to somewhat like her, but I have really lost all respect for her just kind of sticking around like that. But anyway, the Biden administration planted a Democratic operative. And folks, if this is true, this is probably going to be a bigger story than the Fani Willis story to date in and of itself. This would be prima facie election interference. I mean, this would be something like Watergate, if you want to know my opinion. I mean, it's not the same as someone breaking into an office. Am I right about that? Imagine if this is true. The White House took a Democratic operative, quietly, secretly, put him in that office in proximity to Fani Willis so that the White House would have a direct and covert way of influencing and guiding Fani Willis to make the decisions they wanted, so it would affect Donald Trump's ability to run for office. This is salacious, right? All right, moving on. The Biden administration planted a Democratic operative inside a Fulton County office to target former President Donald Trump. Multiple sources familiar with the Fulton County District Attorney's Office exclusively told Breitbart News. If the Biden administration planted the operative, as the sources say, it would present a strong argument that the administration interfered in the 2024 presidential election. You think? Yeah, well, that's the understatement of this entire conversation, right? Breitbart News granted the sources anonymity to discuss the attorney's office for fear of retribution. The sources have direct knowledge of the environment at the district attorney's office, which they categorized as corrupt. Yeah, that's another understatement, right? One significant figure is overlooked in the Fulton County scandal concerning Fulton County prosecutor Fani Willis and her alleged lover. It's not really alleged anymore. They both have admitted their relationship. Her alleged lover with fellow prosecutor Nathan Wade. The source said, meets Jeff DiSantis, the county's, his current title is the deputy district attorney with professional experience far greater than the average county employee. DeSantis worked on Williams' 2020 campaign, sources told Breitbart News, and was the former executive director of the Democratic Party of Georgia with extensive knowledge of campaign finance law. He was also the deputy director of compliance for DNC, according to his official bio. And we'll drill down on that here in a minute. Jeff has also worked for candidates in 30 states running for a variety of offices, including President of the United States Senator, Governor, United States Representative, Attorney General, District Attorney, and Mayor, as well as for a national political party committee. He has served as a campaign manager, media consultant, pollster, press spokesman, research director, and policy advisor. Again, this is him to Fani Willis's right. This is a very well-planted, if it's true, a very high-sourced, well-planted, knowledgeable. This guy's a power broker. Let's just be straight up about it. This guy, you talk about deep state, this is deep state stuff here, folks. That's what this is. You want to know what the deep state looks like? It looks like this dude right here. It's Jeff DiSantis. It says on the caption, it says, Fulton County District Attorney Fani Willis speaks during a news conference at the Fulton County Government Building on Wednesday, August 14, 2023 in Atlanta, Georgia. All right. Sources credit DeSantis with colluding with the White House to target Trump. DeSantis did this, one source told Breitbart Breitbart News about the Trump case. He's the one. He's the one pulling all the strings. He was the one that walked over to Willis, walked her off Willis. He was in every important meeting. He is the brainchild behind this. This is the connection to the White House. And folks, as a caveat, I would definitely want to point out to you, remember from the discovery proceedings that have happened to date, there are documented facts and documented invoices showing that Nathan Wade went to the White House. We're not exactly sure who he met with, but he charged like for the whole 24 hours on a particular day. I believe he was there 2 or 3 days, if my memory serves me, in a row. Who would he be talking to that long for that length of time over this one case? Obviously, the implication here is this is more evidence of what we already know and believe, that there is obvious colluding. You know, it is so ironic how they go after President Donald Trump for trying to steal the election, for, you know, election interference, or the whatever they want to pull out of their backside that particular day. The only election interference going on is what we're discussing right now, is the obvious political interference by the current president, President Joe Biden, or at least whoever the individuals are that are handling Joe Biden. Because let's be honest about it, we don't really know who's handling the stuff for President Biden, because he cannot be doing what he should be doing. He just obviously, it's not age, by the way. It's not age. I'm tired of hearing that. This is not age. This has to do solely with capability. I don't care if the guy is 35 or if the guy is 95. It has to do with how's his brain functioning. And I would venture to tell you, Donald Trump is firing on all his cylinders. His brain obviously works better than my brain. I can almost assure you of that. So at any rate, okay, I think it's important because this particular paragraph is everything. I mean, this is what these sources are telling Breitbart, that this is the plant and this is what he is personally responsible for doing. All right, citing his deep history and connections to the Democratic machine. That's a good way to put it. To the Democratic Georgia machine. Sources told Breitbart News they were 100% certain that DeSantis was the inside man planted in the Fulton County office by the Biden administration. DeSantis is the one pulling the strings on this whole thing, a second source said. Everybody heard Fani testify. There is no secret. There is no secret that she's not smart. Yeah, you know, isn't that another understatement? Were you struck by how unintelligent she sounded? Now, my English is not perfect, and it is definitely not as good as it used to be when I was younger necessarily. But this is a woman that is allegedly highly educated. She carries a degree in law, you know, the jurisprudence law. She has a lot of experience, and the things that she has said on that stand, what is all of that about? All right, that is how she sounds and acts every day of the week. Anyone that has common sense knows that the White House has been involved in this prosecution, a source told Breitbart News. This shouldn't just miraculously happen. Of course, Willis is not going to prosecute the former president of the United States without the current administration's approval. You know, I believe that too. I just don't see Fani Willis, even though she thinks she's all that, even though she's all about the power and the money, I don't see a prosecutor from Fulton County, Georgia, that is rather new in office. I mean, she was just elected a year or 2 years ago, whatever it has been now, and she goes after the former president of the United States. I mean, I just don't see it. Not without special permission from people higher up in the party, specifically the current president of the United States. I would want to know that the president had my back, or at least his administration had my back, before I went off and tried to charge a former president of the United States, one of the most powerful men in the world, at least one of the former most powerful men in the world, that is in all likelihood going to be the next president of the United States, charge him with a crime on a state level that he cannot pardon himself out of. I mean, I just can't see that happening without the White House blessing. That's just my opinion. I just don't see it. You agree, disagree? Tell me. Hey, welcome, Mike. Thanks for joining, my friend. All right. Sources also reveal that DeSantis was a member of Willis's transition team after she won the election in November 2020. DeSantis helped Wade select employees for the new office. DeSantis was there in the capacity to be a political strategist, hiding in the DA's office, a source told Breitbart News. Well, really? That's interesting. Okay, I mean, again, it's just more of what we already know to be true. As Breitbart News exclusively reported Sunday, Wade is a prosecutor on the Trump case, and he selected the office employees. A source told the news. Wade made the decision to hire or fire employees in the district attorney's office following Willis's election victory in November 2020, according to multiple sources familiar with the Wade and Willis relationship. Remember, the first witness at this evidentiary hearing the week before last, the lady that was there, her name escapes me right now, but she was the former friend, not best friend, but definitely a former friend, a former college roomie of the district attorney, Fani Willis. She's the one that says unequivocally that she saw Fani Willis and Nathan Wade together prior to 2021. As a matter of fact, it was 2019, and saw them holding hands, kissing, acting in a way that only lovers act. I mean, it's straight up, that's what she said. And of course, Fani Willis didn't particularly like that. And that's why she was so aggravated and walked into court with her dress on backwards. She was just itching to get to that microphone. So the plot thickens more. All right, moving on here. The revelation of Wade's previously unreported position as the former personal, as his unreported position as the former personnel decision maker for the district attorney's office raises ethical and conflicts of interest concerns. It also raises questions whether Wade and Willis have been forthright about the timeline of the reported affair. Sources describe one-on-one interviews behind closed doors with Willis and Wade, who was too invested to be just friends, of Willis to hold such a powerful position. It was obvious Willis and Wade had an affair in 2020, 1 year before Willis launched her probe into Trump. Interesting choice of wording, but we'll move on. And DeSantis would know about it, sources revealed to the news. Okay, the district attorney's office did not reply to a request for comment from Breitbart News about DeSantis's allegations of involvement between the White House and Trump's prosecution. In January, Trump and co-defendant Mike Roman accused Willis of maintaining an improper romantic relationship with Wade. Willis and Wade took the stand in February to testify about whether the relationship disqualified Willis from prosecuting Trump if the presiding judge determines that Willis engaged in an actual conflict of interest with her lover, and former prosecutor Willis could be removed from the case, handing the former President Donald Trump a massive victory. Yes, that is exactly what can happen. Wade's story appears shaky. Former Fulton County District Attorney, employee, and friend of Willis since college, Robin Yurty. This is the woman we were just discussing. Robin Yurty. I hope I'm saying the name right. You can see it right here. That was the older black lady. Well, she has to be about the same age as Fani Willis, so she's probably just about my age, 54, 55. Robin Yurty, she's the one that testified that Willis was definitely in a relationship with Wade since 2019. Boom. That's what I just was discussing with everybody. In addition, and here's the kicker. In addition, cell phone data obtained from AT&T through subpoena contradicts Wade's testimony. Ain't that something? Busted. Back and forth with everybody. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to cut it right now. At this point, I may or may not come back later. If nothing else, Lord willing, I'll be back tomorrow. We'll pick it up where we left off. But I wanted you to have this breaking news of a plant inside DA Fani Willis's offices by President Joe Biden. Absolutely outrageous. It's just nuts. So I always say, folks, keep that mind free. Never give up. And until next time, I am J.R. Dukes.